Usually we stick with kind of light and cultural subjects. Tonight is a serious subject. And you may be familiar with one of our guests who's been here before. This is Luke Higuchi, or Haruhisa Higuchi, who has been living in the United States for a long time, is an American citizen, but Japanese by birth, and he is a member of the Asian American Law Enforcement Association, and we've talked about that before. And he's brought with him tonight Miss Gail Veith,
Yes.
who is American, British, Barbadian.
Yes.
She's got a mixed background. And they both have come to us with an interesting story, let's put it that way. Since you're an old friend to these cameras, would you just give us a brief summary of what your organization, which is called SAFE, is about?
Yes, that my organization's name, Survivors Against Forced Exit.
Okay. But exit is not exactly exit in the way that we think about exit from a fire or exit from politics, like what's going on in parts of the world. Not that kind of exit. It's a different kind of exit.
Yeah, the forced conversion, which means, or forced changing faith.
Religious conversion. Forced religious conversion. And what religion are we talking about?
My religion is Unification Church.
The Unification Church? And how about you, Gail?
I'm also a member of the Unification Church.
And you've experienced certain problems through your life because of being members. But let's talk about right now what's going on, because you're sitting here in front of us.
Yes.
So tell me what's going on right now that you brought to my attention.
In Japan, in a matter of about 40 years, more than 4,000 members of the Unification Church have been abducted and in some cases deprived of food, even tortured, even in one case. Anyway, I won't go into the horror. You don't want to hear this?
No, I don't think so.
No. But anyway, we both had the same experience. I was abducted in California. Luke, my friend here, was abducted in Japan by our parents. Our parents love us very much.
By your parents?
Yes.
And when would this be? When would this have been?
In my case, I think it was 1979, at the end of the 70s. And because our parents love us so much, there are always people looking to make a buck. With the unification, as all early religions have these rumors going around. So in the case of the Unification Church, we got some bad rap. Back in the day, there were a lot of rumors.
That's why I looked at you and I said, when was that? I remember the 70s.
Yes, people were saying we're brainwashed or we're deprived of food, we're working too hard, whatever the case may be. And in those days, it's true, we worked hard. We had a cause and we worked hard. But with our parents, these so-called faith breakers, they would approach our parents and get them really afraid. Your child is being taken advantage of.
I see.
You got to get your kid out of there. And they would give them half-truths. When they would get very confused and afraid and desperate.
So you're saying that there were people who approached parents and told them these...
Okay. In my case, my relative, my close relative said, let's get Gail out of this. I'll research and find a way that we can get her out. Okay? So then with the help of a relative contacting these faith breakers, in those days it was Ted Patrick. Have you heard of him?
I think so. We're in this kind of same generation. Yeah, I think so.
He was like the first one. He went to jail for what they call deprogramming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember in detail, but I think I do remember the name. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went through that awful experience.
You did?
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
It wasn't as awful as the members in Japan. America is America, and it was more like a mental badgering, you don't know, like badgering, mental torture.
Breaking down your reserve.
Right, and they don't give you a break. They go at you day after day, and when one gets tired, another one comes.
Like, you said that, brainwashing. It's just
They're
like you see in the
accusing us
movies.
of brainwashing, but they're 10 times worse than what they say we were. That's a funny thing, right?
That's
So
interesting.
anyhow, I managed to escape, and then,
You managed to escape.
yes, but they brought me back. They caught me and they brought me back. But you know what happened,
You
Pat?
look so devilish.
Devilish.
Yeah, look at you, this sweet woman here.
Well, what happened was, okay, they brought me back, but how they let me go was that I didn't say anything. I just stayed quiet. So he got tired. There was no give and take.
Oh, no challenge.
And the last thing he said was, "She's hopeless. Give me my money and let me go." That was the last thing he said.
And you went back.
It's a long story. I had made it back to New York, and I joined the church there and worked in New York for a while.
And you're still a member of the church.
Very much so, yeah.
And how about your parents now? How do they feel?
Well, this is my dad,
Okay.
okay? He's wealthy, and he,
It's handsome.
yeah, there's a scar. He's got a scar in his heart, and I have a scar in mine.
Okay.
But we love each other very much, and he adores my 4 children.
Okay.
And he loves my husband.
Is your husband a member of the church?
Yes, Reverend Moon matched us. You saw the big wedding in 1982 at Madison Square Garden?
Well, we've heard of these
2,000
things.
couples
Yes,
were married.
yes.
Okay, well, Reverend Moon is like an amazing matchmaker. If you want a husband, you ask Reverend Moon. He'll get you the perfect
yeah?
husband. He will find you the perfect. My husband is a wonderful
He's
man,
adorable.
very supportive, never said anything to hurt my feelings. And my dad loves him, and he loves my kids, and we're okay, but there's still that scar. So the deprogrammers got their money, but we were left with scarred hearts.
Okay. Okay.
You got the picture.
Yes, yes. That's very well put. And now let me ask Luke, because you were
Yes.
in Japan. The same period of time, 1979 or so?
When I was 25 years old, that's back to 1989.
Okay.
So
That's much later. I mean, much more recent. I think, not to editorialize, but we don't hear very much about these things happening anymore. In the 79s, we did.
So now still going on in Japan, same kidnapping and confinement.
How many members of the Unification Church are there in Japan?
That's don't have any number, but for 4,300 members being abducted.
Okay.
And then one, so back to my story.
Yes, your story. I'm sorry.
So when I was 25 years old, I was married man, adult, and then I visit my parents, my parents and relatives, and brother-in-law, my
This is
sisters
in Japan?
My hometown. They was waiting for me after I married with Korean lady, and then they really not happy my marriage.
To a Korean?
To
or
Korean.
To a Korean
Yeah.
in general.
In general.
We can say that.
You can say,
We can say that.
our histories,
Right,
relationship.
Right.
You know, especially my father's age has kind of mentality.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So they grabbed my both hand,
Yeah.
force into the van. And
Really?
Then, and it brought
You're a
me.
big guy.
I was that was time I was skinnier.
Yeah, but
They
Yes.
drugged his food, the dinner.
Yes, so I was slept in the car because the, maybe the drug might suffer, and when I was wake up, 4 men lift me up, put into the one small room, which is solitary confinement
Really?
in mental hospital.
really?
Yes. That's bed and toilet.
Yeah.
Even I cannot flush myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, they give me a, small door.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. They treat me like a dangerous animal.
Oh.
Yeah. Even other mental, patient cross the, fall away. He's kicking door and yelling, screaming. So I realized, this is, I cannot do that, because even if I act like crazy,
Nobody cares.
so
Woo.
I have to be longer and longer. Inside the room 24 hours, I cannot do anything. There's no TV, radio, room itself is damp, dark, humid.
No exercise? Any
So
exercise?
I have
Just
to,
by yourself?
By myself, I had to, how I can spend the time. Can you imagine nothing to do? I exercise, make my, routine, daily routines for spending time
We
myself.
see that in the movies sometimes,
Yeah.
but this is real.
You
what
saw,
we're
right?
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I manage my emotion, manage, myself.
So finally, though, what happened?
Yeah, I spent the room, 1 month. And they released me to next level, and next level, but still inside the mental hospital for 3 months.
Oh.
My doctor came, and she asked me, "Are you okay? How do you feel?"
Your family doctor or their doctor?
No, dear doctor, mental hospital. Doctor came once a week, I think. My parents came once a week
Wow.
to check out how I'm been doing. So they asked me to write that, some diary, how I feel. So eventually I realized, this is, I have to pretend, renouncement of my church. I have to write down, I have to give up, will be back to the normal,
But
good,
you said
good boy.
pretend. You
Pretend,
decided
yeah.
to pretend.
Pretend. That's why there's no other way to get out from the mental hospital. Otherwise, I cannot escape from solitary confinement. So that was terrible, terrible time for me.
So since your time and your time, this event continues. More so, do you think, in Japan than in another country?